Let's go ahead and we'll get started for our practice today. We are on week 8, so we're already halfway through the semester. But if you think about it, how much we've already covered so far in terms of the posture work that we've done, as well as all of the history, the definition, the understanding of yoga, in more than just the actual physical and the applicable practice of it. So the theoretical and the philosophical points. So you do have a quiz that is due at the end of this week. So make sure that you are studying and preparing for that. Today we're going to be doing balancing postures. So balancing on our feet. There are some postures that are known to be balancing on our hands, so arm balancing poses. We won't be getting into those this semester, but if you do have any questions about those, like you can message me offline. And then we also have head balancing postures. So your inversions, so your headstands, your shoulder stands, and things like that. So, which we also will not be doing in this class, just because I won't be able to give you the proper guidance for that and set up for it. So sorry about that. But you're really, as fun as they are, they can be, once you get up there, it's exhilarating, but then you also get the opportunity to realize that sometimes they're not always the most appropriate for every single person. So, okay, so we are going to get started. We're going to come into our comfortable seated position. So again, bring one ankle in front of the other, perhaps. The knees nice and wide. If you prefer more of a comfortable seated position where the legs are crossed, feel free to work into that. So I want you to place your hands either on top of your knees or rest your hands in your lap. And then just close your eyes for a moment and take a full breath in. Take it in through your nose. Then open up your mouth and exhale, let out a sigh. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale, breathe in, fill up the lungs. Open up the mouth, exhale, let out a sigh. Good, one more time. Inhale. Open up the mouth, exhale, let out a sigh. Keep your mouth closed and continue to breathe slowly. Feel free to work into your 3-part breath or whatever breathing feels more comfortable for you today. So if that 3-part breath feels like it's straining, if you feel like it's a little too slow, work into a more comfortable breath. And as we just find this breath right now, we find our place of center. And the symbolism behind our balancing practice is that we're not trying to find evenness or being even or completely balanced and symmetrical side to side. In fact, most of life is not like this, yet it still most of the time remains balanced. Most of the time, our life can be skewed in one direction or the other, tipping the scale. Maybe we find ourselves doing more work than play. Maybe we find ourselves in more of an external environment compared to an internal environment. Maybe we prefer the social aspects versus just the alone time. So taking notice of where it is that you fall on these charts. I know that there's no right or wrong, that sometimes we prefer more of that lean in one direction over the other. And that's what helps to keep us balanced. It's when we tip the scales too far in one direction that we tend to fall out of balance. And so you'll notice that the postures today will be asymmetrical. And in that asymmetry, we do a little bit of work to find that balance. So our center is not always the midpoint, but our center is where we feel whole and that we don't feel too overwhelmed in one aspect. And take another full breath in. Deep breath out. And then softly curl the outer edges of your lips towards your ears. And make a smile. Good. Flutter your eyes open and let the light in. Let's walk the fingertips to the floor beside you. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up. Big stretch. And then exhale, hands come down to your chest, right at your heart center. And then inhale, reach the arms back up again, reaching nice and long. And exhale, you're going to take just your right hand down, place it on the floor, bend through your elbow in towards your body, not back, but in, and then lean across at the left side body. Good. Big stretch in that left side waist. Try to keep your head back a little bit. Good. And then inhale, lift yourself back up, both hands to the sky. And then exhale, left hand comes down, bend the elbow in towards your body so the shoulder blade can shrug. Good. And you reach across to your right sideways. Keeping your right palm facing down, the pinky finger rotates towards the ground. You shrug your shoulder blade away from the ear so you don't feel like it's jamming up into your neck. Good. Inhale, lift both arms up towards the sky. And then exhale, bring the hands back down to your heart. Inhale, bring both arms back up again. And exhale, circle wide and down. Come into a gentle twist. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, the arms go up. Exhale, take the right hand behind you, lightly on the floor. You're on your fingertips. Left hand comes to the opposite knee, so it's on your right knee. Lift up tall, so you're putting the weight in your sitting bones. I want you to feel like you're sitting here and not leaning back. And then turn to look over your right shoulder. Draw the navel lightly in towards your spine. And just feel that nice twist of the body. Good. Inhale, bring the arms up towards the sky. Rotate the heart through center. And then exhale, switch sides. So left fingertips are behind you. Right hand is on opposite knee. And then move into that twist. These are some of my favorite just warm-up positions, especially for the spine. And if you find yourself as you're sitting at the computer all the time, you can do this in a chair. So if your knees are facing forward, you just push your hand to the outside of the knee. And then you can allow your whole torso to twist around and wrap around like this. You can do the same idea if you're in a side bend stretch. Good. Inhale, bring the arms up, rotate through center. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, circle the arms wide, down and around. Okay, now we're going to come on to our bum with the feet out in front of us. The knees are going to be bent. And we're going to do some seated cat-cows. So with the seated cat-cows, you're going to use your hands either in front of your knees or to the back of your thighs. Good. And I still want your feet to be about hip distance apart or parallel to each other. You're going to take a full breath in. You're going to rock through the pelvis, pull forward, and then pull your elbows back as you lift your chest up. So you're coming into your cow stretch here. That's the back bend. Good. Shoulder blades are pulling together. And then exhale. tuck through the tail, round to the spine, look at your belly button as you lean back. Your hands are still holding onto your legs as your elbows straighten out all the way. Good. Inhale, rock forward, lift up. And then exhale, rock it back. Good. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale, rolling it back. Good. Inhale, lifting it up. Exhale, rocking it back. Good. Inhale, lifting it up. All the ladies, looks like. There we go. Nice. Exhale, rocking it back. I got a couple gentlemen on my call too. Good job. You guys look like you're doing a great job with this. Inhale, lifting up. Squeeze through those shoulder blades. Really let them touch back behind you. Good. And then exhale, round and curl. Good. Keep going. Another round or two. And again, you can do something very similar to this in a chair position or in a chair. You don't always have to be seated down on the ground. This is a great way to also warm up your spine, especially if you've been sitting at your computer all day. Good. All right. Now, let's take our hands back behind us. Fingertips are either facing forward or wide to the side. I prefer to go forward today. And I want you to press down through your feet. You're going to come into reverse tabletop. So feet press down into the ground. Hips lift up high. Ooh, that's fun. There you go. And then let the head fall back, only if that feels okay on your neck. Use your heels to drive the hips into the ground, lifting the bottom up. Good. Looking forward and then lowering the hips down. We're going to cross the ankles, roll over our feet, and step back, downward facing dog. Good. And your down dog. Take a few deep breaths here. Let's inhale, lift up onto your tippy toes. Exhale, bend both knees. Bring your belly to your thighs. Tail is high and perky. Inhale, straighten out the legs. And then exhale, see if you can draw the heels down towards the ground. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, straighten out the legs. And exhale, the heels release down. Good. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, bend the knees. Press the hips back. Inhale, straighten out the legs. And exhale, heels come down. Good. Bring your feet to touch, so the big toes are touching. I want you to take your right leg to the sky, back behind you. Lift it all the way up into your down dog split, reaching it nice and tall to the ball of the foot, like a big antenna. The foot is reaching up to the sky. Exhale, step your right foot forward between your thumbs. Good. All the way into your lunge. Get it there. So you may need to grab the ankle a little bit. Yeah, and then help it forward. Hips sink down, chest lifts up, big smile. Well, that feels good, doesn't it? And now I want you to straighten out your front leg. We're not moving into pyramid pose. We're just straightening up the front leg and then bowing the head down. Bend the front knee, sink the hips down, lift the chest up. Lunge. Exhale, straighten out the front leg, bring the hips back, keep the ball of the foot pressing down, and then inhale, bend the knees, sink the hips, and lift the chest up. Good. One more time. Exhale, straighten out the leg. And this time, if you choose to, if you want a little extra zinger here, you can see my hands moving back a little bit so you can see this. I want you to flip the foot up. The toes reach up towards the sky. That's going to be pretty intense. Good, especially in those hamstrings. Bend the knees, sink the hips down, lift the chest up, and then step back, downward facing dog. Big toes touching again. Inhale, send the left leg up and back behind you. Reach it all the way up towards the sky, lifting nice and tall. Good. And then stepping the left foot forward between the thumbs, all the way there. Now you may want to be on your fingertips as I am. A lot of this is not necessarily flexibility, but more so proportion. So sometimes our proportion of our shin is not as long as our arm, or vice versa. So if you have to prop yourself up onto fingertips, that's okay. All right, hips sink down, chest lifts up, look up and smile. And then exhale, straighten out the front leg, lean the hips back, bow the head down. Inhale, bend the knees, sink the hips, and come into your lunge. And then exhale, send the hips back, straightening out the legs. Good. Whew. Inhale, bend the knees, sink the hips. And then exhale, straightening out the leg. Good. One more time. Inhale, bend the knees, sink the hips. And then exhale, straightening out the leg. And then you have the option, flexing the foot and pointing the toes straight up towards the sky. As you can see, my toes are straight up towards the sky here. Pretty big stretch there, I know. Good, bend the knees, sink the hips, and step it back, downward facing dog. Now you can bring your feet back to hips distance apart or even a little bit wider. Take another full breath in, shake your head, yes or no. And then walk your feet forward to the top edge of the mat, coming into your standing forward fold. Bend your knees enough so your belly is touching onto your thighs. Hips are high, head hangs down low. Let the arms drape down. Another full breath in here. Good. I want you to come up all the way with a flat back, lifting up tall, circle the arms wide, reach all the way up towards the sky, lifting to the fingertips, and then exhale, arms circle wide and down by your side. Good. All right. Coming into our sun salutation. We're going to probably go through about 6 rounds or so, get some nice warming up of our body, and then we'll get into our standing postures and balancing poses. All right, so standing in your mountain pose, feet are hip distance apart, toes are facing forward. And you're going to feel all 4 corners of your feet touching down. So you need to pull the toes up and feel how the arches lift. Good, release the toes down if they're lifted. And draw those calves apart, inner thighs together. Navel draws in towards the spine, and the head stacks above your shoulders. Inhale, circle the arms up, upward hand salute. Exhale, fold in half, hinge from the hips and take it down. Inhale, right foot back lunge, hips down, chest lift, looking up and smiling. Exhale, stepping back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward into plank. Core is strong. Exhale, knees, chest, chin to the floor. Inhale to cobra, hips down, top the feet to the ground. Lift the chest up with the head come along for the ride. Exhale, bow and take it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot steps forward. Look where you want the foot to go and bring it all the way there. Maybe grabbing onto the ankle. Nice and easy. Good. Exhale, left foot steps forward, standing forward fold. Hips high, head low. Inhale, reverse the swan dive. Come all the way up, hands to the sky. And exhale, mountain pose. Draw the arms down by your side. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, fold in half. Hinge from the hips and take it down. Inhale, left foot steps back. Lunge. Hips down, heart lift, looking up. Exhale, right foot steps back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward into plank. Exhale, lower knees, chest, chin to the floor. Inhale, cobra, tops the feet down, hips are on the ground, lengthen through your legs and pull your elbows back. Exhale, bow and take it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, look where you want the foot to go. Left foot steps all the way forward, lunge. Exhale, right foot steps forward, standing forward fold. Inhale, reverse the swan dive, come all the way up, upward hand salute. Exhale, mountain pose. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, fold in half, hinge from the hips and take it down. Inhale, right foot back, lunge. Hips down, chest lift, looking up. Back leg strong and lifted. Exhale, left foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward into plank. Good. A little bit lower, Angelica. Good. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, bow and take it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot steps forward, lunge. Hips down, chest lift. Exhale, left foot forward, standing forward fold. Inhale, arms circle wide and high. Upward hand salute. Exhale, mountain pose. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, fold in half, hinge from the hips and take it down. Inhale, left foot steps back, lunge. Good. Exhale, right foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale to plank. You can line up your shoulders over your wrists. Get your hips down a little bit. There we go. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. That looks great, Angelica. Good. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, bow and take it back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot steps forward, lunge. Exhale, right foot forward, standing forward, fold. Inhale, circle the arms wide and high. Exhale, mountain pose. 2 more rounds. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, fold in half, hinge from the hips and take it down. Inhale, right foot back, lunge. Good. Exhale, stepping back, downward facing dog. Inhale to plank. Nice, Ria. Good. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. Good. Exhale, bow and take it back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot forward, lunge. Exhale, left foot forward, standing forward, fold. Inhale, bring the arms up. Upward hand salute. Exhale, mountain pose. Last one. Inhale up. Exhale, fold in half. Inhale, left foot back. Exhale, right foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale to plank, shoulders over your wrists. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, bow and take it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot forward, lunge. Good. Exhale, right foot forward, standing forward, fold. Inhale, reverse the swan dive, come up. Exhale to mountain pose. Pause here for a moment. Good. Feeling that connection with your feet to the ground. Feel free to close your eyes. Let the breath continue to move through you. Good. I'll turn to face you guys. All right. Let's inhale. Bring the arms out wide and all the way up towards the sky. Interlace your fingers and point through the index. Exhale as you lean over to the right. Good. Inhale and lift up. And exhale over to the other side. Good. Inhale, lift yourself up. And exhale, fold forward, hinge from the hips and take it down. Inhale, lift up to a flat back halfway. And exhale, fold in half. Inhale, reverse the swan dive, come all the way up. And exhale, bring your hands together at your chest. Okay, so we are going to start playing with a little bit of foot bouncing before we get into a few of these other postures and incorporate them into our flow. So some of the important things that we can learn from our balancing poses is that we need to kind of shift our weight and understand where our hips are to help us with a lot of this foot placement. With this, I just want you to kind of feel your feet into the ground. And we're going to practice with shifting our weight into one foot over the other foot. So just kind of like you're leaning side to side. Notice that I'm shifting my hips to balance over one foot. You'll notice how you're just kind of leaning into it. I'm not moving my hips side to side like I'm dancing. I want to kind of lean the whole body so that eventually I can pick my foot up off the floor. All right, so if you happen to be on carpet, this becomes a little bit more challenging for you, especially really thick rugs and thick tiles. You want to have something where you have a firm foundation so your feet can actually grab into the ground, okay? So keep shifting side to side, and then we will pause on that right foot and float the left leg up. Good. And I want you to take that left foot, step on top of your right foot. Good. And now what to do with the hands. If it suits you, you can keep your arms down by your sides. Some people like to have their hands on their hips. Some people like to have their hands into a prayer position. Maybe their arms stretch up. It doesn't matter. So working with whatever feels best for you. All right. So let's switch sides. So I want you to put the weight into your left foot. Float the right foot up. Good. The more that you kind of just play and mitigate with where your hips need to be, the better it is for you to feel that foot float up. And you're going to step your right foot on top of the left foot. You might notice that the bottom foot, the one that's underneath, is doing a lot of moving. So those are just our natural reflexes responding to all of the different balancing needs that our body is indicating that it has to have right now to keep ourselves upright. And if anybody has done any type of stand-up paddleboard, you realize how much you use your feet for balance. And it's incredibly, like, I don't know, I know that for myself, I've been super sore, especially on the soles of my feet, just from doing stand-up paddleboard. And it just feels like your feet might be on fire, okay? All right, so before we come out of this pose, I want you to try something for a moment. Hands either on your hips or at your heart center. I want you to close your eyes. Now, some of you may have shifted wildly out of the pose, almost like you were on that stand-up paddleboard and you may have gone in the water. All right, so what is really important about our balance is our focus, our visual focus, okay? And we actually have a name or term for this in Sanskrit. And this term is called drishti. Drishti. There's also a mention of this on Canvas so that you can see the actual spelling for it. And I'll put it in the comments for you guys in just a moment. But drishti actually means that you want to fix your gaze on a single spot, okay? This is our single pointed focus, okay, our visual gaze. And like in dancing, okay, if you were to be spinning around, you would want to fix your gaze on a single spot to help you keep your balance and not get dizzy. They call that spotting, okay? But in yoga, we call this drishti because we're not actually going to be spinning around, but we're still fixing our gaze on one spot to help us. Now, if we were in a classroom setting, some of the challenges might be that there are other people around us that are moving around and shifting around. You might be in your home right now, and you might not have too many things that are shifting and moving around. So you're actually at an advantage for that aspect. But regardless, I want you to fix your gaze on something out in front of you and then see if that's going to help you with maintaining your balance. So let's try that same side again. I know we were doing it for a little bit longer. So I want you to shift that weight into your left foot, right foot stacks on top, and bring your hands to your heart or your hips. And I want you to fix your gaze on something out in front of you that's not moving. Good. And then play with that right foot to be moving around. Good. It's like you're having a staring contest with this one spot, and you're going to win. Good. All right, go ahead and come out of it. All right. Do we have any questions before we move on? I'm going to type that in the chat so you guys can see the spelling of drishti. There we go. Okay, so we're going to work into a posture known as tree pose. It's going to be one of those more mild postures that's going to help us for finding our balance. Okay, so we are going to get into some spicier or more challenging balancing poses today. But I wanted to start off with tree pose just because it does lend itself to being a little bit more mild and forgiving. All right, so we're going to put the weight into our right foot. Okay, I want you to shift all that weight over just as we were doing side to side with the hips. I want you to feel the four corners of your foot touching down on the ground. Left foot is going to come into 3 different stages perhaps. Okay, so you don't always have to progress into the next stage, just depending on where you are today and where your balance is today. We're going to start off with the first stage though. So with the first stage, your left toes are going to be on the ground, and that foot, the heel of the foot, is going to come up along the inner ankle of your right leg. The knee is pointed off to the side a little bit at a diagonal. Okay, just a little bit of a kickstand here. Your hands can be at your hips, at your chest, or up towards the sky, whichever you prefer. Okay. Second stage is bringing your foot to your calf. Notice that I don't have my foot on my knee. I'm not pushing my knee this way, but I am, when I bring my foot to my calf, pushing my foot into the leg as much as the leg is pushing into my foot. Okay, feel the squeeze of your inner thighs to help lift the torso up. Good. Some of you may progress even further, bringing your foot up along the inside of your right leg. The toes will point down, the heel will press upwards. You're pressing your foot into the leg as much as the leg is pushing into the foot. Again, you can bring your hands to your hips, at your heart, and lock your drishti at that single spot. If you happen to fall out of the pose, that's okay. But I don't want you to pogo stick, okay, and just jump around on that one leg. See if you can take full breaths in and out. Relax the shoulders, the mouth, expression on your face. Good. And then spin the knee forward and slowly release. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you felt that in your foot, your calf, maybe in your thigh of the standing leg. Okay. It's tricky because we think that the work is being done on the leg that's lifted. Okay. It's actually the standing leg that is getting most of the work and the effort here. Okay. Shift the weight into your left leg. Bring your right foot either into that first stage, okay, along the ankle, maybe into the second stage at the calf, or you'll bring your foot all the way up the inner thigh. Good. And finding your balance here. Find your drishti fixed on something out in front of you, and this is that external physical visual gaze. But we can have some type of a fixed point mentally as well. We don't need to be super rigid with it, but we can just try to focus our mind on breathing. Breathing in and breathing out. There's a little bit of that surrender and trust that our body will do the work to keep ourselves upright as long as we fix our mind on the breath and going with the flow and the pace of life. Good. Another full breath in here. This is called tree pose. Good. And then spinning the knee forward and slowly release. All right. Let's take a poll. I'm not able to do polls on this for right now because I'm logged into 2 different accounts, but let me know in the chat how many of you felt that your one side was more challenging than the other, and if it was maybe your left side or your right side, just go ahead and post that in the chat. Yeah, Slater, isn't that interesting how one side, even though we would expect it to be our dominant side, how it might be more challenging? And it honestly, all of this will vary day to day, practice to practice. And so today, what you're feeling right now might be completely different to when you practice this class again on Wednesday or throughout the rest of the week or some other time in life. And we would kind of anticipate or expect that we're going to be, having a weak side or a stronger side, but it just varies based on life in general. And, it's, as you can see on here, it's going to range from each person. So we just come into this practice and just acknowledge where we are and just take notice that some days we actually might feel more balanced overall than other days. And it might be a reflection of how balanced that we feel in our life. Symbolically for this practice, and the symbolism of the physical body in yoga is that our right side is our masculine side. This is our sun side. It represents the more active. It is the ha part of the practice that we were talking about in the Hatha. And our left side would be more of the feminine, the passive side, the ta part of the practice. So if you're feeling like you're being challenged on one side compared to the other, see where that challenge might be showing up for you in your life as well. And you might be surprised that there might be some similarities that do show up with that. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. We're going to move on to a few other poses in general. So with this next one, if you happen to have a strap, I want you to grab it and you want to roll it out as much as possible. If you do not have a strap, don't worry. I'm going to give you options for that as well. All right, so shift your weight into your right foot. This one is called extended big toe pose. Now you're going to shift the weight into your right foot. Now I want you to bring your left knee up to your chest. You've done this in your pre-test. Interlace your fingers and place the hands to the underside of your thigh. Okay, so you're holding your leg up out in front of you. What's interesting about this pose is that it's going to challenge a different side of your standing leg than you did with our tree pose. Okay, so because the knee is out in front of us, it's challenging more of the back side of our right leg compared to the outside or the inside of our standing leg when we were in tree pose. Okay, now if you have a strap, you can wrap the strap along the ball of the foot. You're going to hold your hands close and you're going to extend the foot out in front of you, reaching it out as far as it'll go. Okay, you can keep your knee bent, or if you have your hands on the strap, just start to slide your hands further back and you can have your legs straighter. If you do not have a strap, then what you can do is still hold on to your leg, interlacing those fingers and extending your heels straight out in front. Eventually, you'll grab a hold of your big toe, as this is called, and you're going to take your foot out in front of you for extended big toe pose. Good. So I want you to try and practice with this and see if you can do this for about 3 to 5 breaths before coming out. Okay, so set yourself up however you need to, with strap or without. Putting the weight into your right foot. Do it without the strap this time. And reaching out through the foot and taking a few of your deepest breaths. The challenge with this pose is that we might find ourselves leaning back or leaning forward to get into the posture. So see if you can keep your body as if you're in mountain pose and then reach out through the leg. Good. Slowly release once you found your 3 to 5 breaths. As I mentioned, these are going to get slowly and progressively harder. Do you guys feel that was harder? Thumbs up if yes. Yeah, I see that too. Okay, switching sides. So putting the weight into your left foot, bend your right knee up to your chest, hands interlaced underneath the leg. Good. Standing up nice and tall. And when you feel ready, extending out through the leg. Good. Again, you always have the option of grabbing that big toe. When you grab the big toe, you're going to use your first and middle finger, your peace fingers. You're going to put it between the big toe and the second toe. So just like you would put on a flip-flop, okay, and then you're going to press and extend out. So it's just a yogi toe grab, as we call this. Lifting up taller with the chest. Keeping the standing leg strong. And slowly releasing from the pose. Woo! All right, again, with this one, the intention is not to keep that leg or to get that lifted leg straight, but to keep our body strong in the standing leg and preventing ourselves from leaning front to back. All right, let's move on. Stand at the top of your mat. Get into some standing poses with both feet on the ground. Inhale, bring the arms up towards the sky. And exhale, fold forward, hinging from the hips. Inhale, step the right foot back into lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, take your right leg up to the sky, back behind you, down dog split. And exhale, step the right foot forward between your thumbs. We're going to come into our front stance, warrior one. So left toe slightly forward about 3 inches, and then, about 3 inches. And the foot wide to the left, about 2 inches. Spin the heel down. Keep the bend in the front knee and inhale. Bring the arms up. Warrior one. Good. Exhale. Bring your hands onto your hips. Inhale. You're going to straighten out your front leg. Exhale. Hinge forward, coming down with a flat back halfway. And then all the way down, getting that big stretch in your right hamstring. It's called pyramid pose. Good. You're going to bend your right knee. Sink the hips forward and lift the torso up again. This time, you're going to keep a bend in your front knee. If you need to watch this next one, we're going to move into what's called warrior three pose. Okay, we're going to keep a bend in the front knee because that's the direction that we're going in. We're going to move our hips forward to balance over our front leg so that we can lift the back leg up, keeping our hips level. And then eventually, as we feel like we can grow the pose, the arms will reach out in front of us in line with our ears. If that's too much for you today, you can bring your hands to your heart or keep the hands at your hips. Then we're going to transition, bending the right knee, stepping back, warrior one, arms will come up. All right, so we're going to try that whole series again. Exhale, hands to your hips. Inhale, straighten out your front leg. Exhale, hinge forward, coming over that straight leg. Inhale, bend your right knee. Sink your hips forward, lift the chest up. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips. Belly comes over that bent right leg. You're going to move the weight forward, even if you have to hop the back foot in a little bit, and float. Left leg up. So it's parallel to the ground. Good. Find a position. Whoops. Find a position, hands at your heart, or the arms stretched out in front of you. And then bend your right knee slowly to step back gracefully into warrior one. Good. Try that one more time. Exhale, hands to your hips. Inhale, straighten out your right leg. Exhale, hinging forward. Inhale, bend the right knee. Sink the hips forward and down. Exhale, hinge forward. Settle right over your bent right leg. Come off of your back foot, inhaling right into warrior 3. Take a few deep breaths here. Bend your right knee, bend it back. Inhale, the arms come all the way up, and then exhale, hands down to the floor, stepping back, downward facing dog. Look between the thumbs, inhale, right foot steps forward. Exhale, left foot forward, standing forward fold. Inhale, bring the arms up. You're gonna exhale, dive right back down, hinging from the hips and taking it all the way down. Inhale, left foot steps back. Exhale, right foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg to the sky behind you, down dog split. And exhale, left foot steps forward, setting up for warrior 1. 3 inches forward and to the right 2 inches. Heel comes down, right toes are in 2 o'clock position. Inhaling up into warrior 1. Exhale, hands to your hips. Inhale, straightening out your front leg, squeeze those inner thighs together. Exhale, hinging forward over your straight right leg, left leg, excuse me. Good, another full breath in your pyramid pose. Bending your front knee. Inhale, let's bring the arms up for again. Good, and then exhale your hands back onto your hips. Let's go into our warrior 3 prep. So you're gonna inhale, exhale, come forward. Inhale, come off of your back leg, floating, right leg up. Wonderful. Bending left knees, carefully stepping back, arms come up, big inhale. Good, exhale, hands to your hips. Straightening out the front leg, inhale. Exhale as you hinge forward into your pyramid pose. Putting the weight into all 4 corners of both of your feet. Bending the front knee, inhale, lift the torso up, keep the hands on the hips. Exhale, lean forward. Inhale, come off of the back foot, warrior 3. Good. So ordinarily, I probably might not come into the warrior 3 times, but I wanted you guys to get this. Bend the front knee, stepping back. Inhale the arms up. We've got one more time. Exhale, hands to your hips. Inhale, straightening out the front leg. Exhale, hinge forward. Pyramid pose. Good. Inhale, lifting up, bending that front knee. Exhale, folding over, bent knee. Inhale, coming off of the back foot as you reach forward. And stepping back into warrior 1. Lifting up the fingertips. Good, and exhale, the hands come all the way down. Stepping back, downward facing dog. Good, go ahead and take a child's pose, knees to the floor, hips sink all the way back. Forehead relaxes to the mat. Then rise up onto all fours, curl the toes under and send it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg to the sky, back behind you. Exhale, right foot steps forward, setting up for warrior 2. Spin the back heel down, have your heel to arch alignment, and then lift your torso up, branching out through your arms, bending into your right knee. Make sure that you put a little extra weight into the outside of that right foot. Wonderful. Reverse the warrior. Send the left hand down the back leg, reach the right arm up and over, then deeper into right knee. Good, inhale, back up, warrior 2. Exhale, straighten out your right leg, reach forward, triangle pose. Hand comes down. I want you to feel that thigh bone dig deep into your hip socket. Good, and then lifting up to that top hand, left hand. Triangle pose here. And then inhale, lift yourself back up, warrior two. Exhale, reverse the warrior. Inhale, back up, warrior two. And exhale, elbow on the thigh, flip the left palm and reach the left arm up and over. Try to find that straight line from your back heel across the torso through your left fingertips in side angle. Good, lift yourself back up, warrior two. Feel free to take a moment. We're gonna come into a next posture, which is known as half moon pose. And this is where you might want to use your block today, okay? For half moon pose, we're gonna put the weight into our front foot, okay? I personally prefer coming into it from a side angle position because I have a lot of that weight leaning forward. I'm gonna gaze down at the ground. I wanna look for the pinky toe side of my foot. If you want to, you can keep your hand on your hip. This sometimes helps us. So I'm looking down at the foot. I'm gonna take my right fingertip slightly wider than my right foot. It's gonna be forward on my right foot. I can hop it forward or float it up. If you have your block, you'll place the block underneath your hand. And then you're gonna lift the left leg up towards the sky. The trick is, if we don't have enough weight forward in the foot, okay, we're gonna feel like we're kind of hopping that back foot. We have to shift that weight into the toes and into our right hand. And then we can feel the hips stack and reach up through the left fingertips. We'll come out of the pose by lifting up, bending the knee, and gracefully stepping back into warrior two. All right, let's go ahead and try it together. Coming into your warrior two. Good. Reaching forward with your right fingertip. Elbow on the thigh. Bring your left hand to your hip. Good. Keep your hips sinking down and towards your front foot. Now look at the ground or at your block. You're going to place your hand, right hand, down on the ground to the right of your foot. And it's going to be forward. Ideally, it's going to be underneath your shoulder as you're coming into your half moon. Hop your left foot in a little bit closer so you can put that weight in your standing leg. Then, shifting that weight forward, float the left leg up. You can keep your gaze at the ground here, but see if you can lift left hip up towards the sky, lifting up as high as you can through the pinky toe side of your foot. Good. Bend your right knee and carefully send the weight back, arms branch out. Good. Exhale, hands cartwheel down, framing the foot, and you're going to step back, downward facing dog. Good. Lower down into child's pose. And if you have any questions about what we just did right there for half moon, please put them in the comments or unmute yourself, and we can ask those now before we get started on the other side. Do we have to keep weight on the hand that's on the ground? You don't actually have to keep weight on that hand. Eventually, as you do this pose, Angelica, eventually, as you do this pose, you can actually float the fingertips up off the ground, okay? This becomes a little bit more challenging for some of us, okay? But if you're first starting off, sometimes it could be nice to have that other anchor point into the ground to give you that lift and that leverage through the back leg. Otherwise, you eventually start to teeter and play with floating the hand up, okay? But it's not necessary for you to keep that hand on the ground. It just helps with getting that movement forward into that front leg. Any other questions? I think we're okay. When your feet feel tender, is that just because we need to have more strength? Most likely, yes. I'm getting this kind of sharp pain in the middle of my foot, and I'm not sure if that means my ankles are weak. Not necessarily that the ankles are weak, it's that the muscles in our feet are just not used to this, okay? We shove our feet into shoes from a very young age. And when we have those shoes, we provide all these comfort and cushion and support for our feet, which is good, but our feet actually need to get stronger. So we've been babying our feet for such a long time that it's really important that we actually continue to work on building strength in our feet through this barefoot practice that we're doing. So how we improve the strength in our feet? By doing this type of balancing work, especially as we are barefoot. Yeah. So you can do this type of work. I mean, if you really want to, focus on, I personally walk around my house barefoot all the time, but I'm also trying to keep awareness at other times throughout the day. So maybe I'm brushing my teeth and I start to balance on one foot, and then that's in the morning, and then I'll balance on the other side while I'm brushing my teeth at night. And so that might give you a little opportunity to kind of practice and play with it throughout your regular day. But it's really important that we continue to build the strength in our feet so that we can, through our mountain pose, we can feel those arches lifting. Through our standing postures, we can feel ourselves, mitigating whether or not we're going forward and trying to prevent ourselves from falling down. And then these balancing poses are really good for strengthening your feet too. Okay, let's hop on over to the other side. So let's come into downward facing dog. Those are good questions, guys. Thank you. All right, inhale, send the left leg up towards the sky, back behind you. And then exhale, stepping the left foot forward, warrior two. Spin the right heel down and lift yourself all the way up, adding that heel to arch alignment. I'm going to turn myself around so you guys aren't seeing my backside. Good, and coming into reverse warrior. Put the left palm up, slide the right hand down the back leg, and get that big side body stretch. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, straightening out your front leg. Reach forward. A lot of people forget that part. And then the hand comes down, right hand to the sky. Triangle pose. Good. Inhale, lift yourself up, warrior two. Exhale, reverse the warrior. Inhale, lifting back up, warrior two. And exhale, side angle. Elbow on the thigh, shoulder away from the neck. Reaching the right arm up and over. Good. We'll come back up, warrior two. Good. And then going into our half moon pose. Exhale, elbow on the thigh, right arm reaches up and over. Bring your right hand to your hip. Look down at the ground. I want you to hop. Right foot in a little bit closer. Take your left fingertips to the floor, to the pinky toe side of your foot. Right. Taking the hand to the pinky toe side of the foot. You're going to lift right leg up, floating it away from the ground. Good. Maybe the right hand reaches up towards the sky and just lifting through that pinky toe side of the foot. Your gaze can be at the floor, along the horizon, or up at the outstretched hand. Good. So each change of your drishti can change the level of spiciness of the pose. Good. Bend your left knee and float it back, warrior two. Exhale, hands cartwheel down, frame the foot, and step back, downward facing dog. Good. I want you to inhale, look between your hands, step the left foot forward, and exhale, right foot forward, standing forward fold. From here, bend your knees, sink your hips all the way down, and then sit back onto your seat. Good. Come onto our back. So, rolling onto your back, take your knees in. Take both of those knees in and just take a moment to take a full breath in. And deep breath out. Another full breath in. And deep breath out. And then start to rock side to side, massaging out the back. Sometimes it might feel nice to feel your knees circle around and your hands guiding those knees around. If you are circling, change direction. And then bring your forehead up to meet your knees, squeezing into a tight little ball. Lower head and shoulders down. Stretch the arms out wide into a T shape. Let the knees fall over to the right, look to the left. And then inhale, lift the knees back up through center, and exhale the knees over to the left and look to the right. Full breath into that right lung. And then inhale, lift the knees back up through center. And then exhale, extend the legs out in front of you, all the way down. If you prefer to, you can have your arms stretched out wide into that T shape, or you could bring the arms down by your side. Be grabbing your towel and placing it over your eyes. And finding that place to rest. And as we find this place to rest in our corpse pose, I want you to take notice of your feet. If there's any difference in energy, perhaps a tingling or a swirling sensation, buzzing. And take notice of your ankles. And bringing awareness to your calves. And start to notice your knees. And then paying attention to your thighs. Your hips. Your belly and low back. Your heart and your rib cage. And the lungs that surround. Massage the heart each time that you breathe in. Noticing your shoulders, your arms draped out and down. Noticing your neck, your throat. Take notice of your jaw, your tongue, your cheeks and ears. Noticing your nose, air flowing through. Your eyes, your eyebrows. Noticing your forehead and your temples. Your hair, your scalp, covering all of your head. See if you can take a full breath in. And exhale out. Breathe into every cell of your body. And empty out. One more deep breath. And then inhale, stretch the arms up and overhead, reaching along throughout the entire body. Your fingers and toes stretch. Exhale with a sigh. Tuck your knees into your chest, wrap your arms around, and gently roll over to your right side. Press the top hand into the floor and extend your top leg, easing your way up to a comfortable seat. Bring your hands together at your heart center and feel free to unmute yourself for the closing portion of our practice. The light within me bows to the light within you. Namaste.